I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna choose not to. Just gonna say no, no, thank you. Oh, no, that's fine. We're good. Well, if you can manage it, fantastic. If you can't, I'm no, I am going to lose sleep over it. I'm always going to lose sleep over it, obviously, right? Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, boys and girls. How are we all doing today? Well, yes, so this new format is in part driven by the Progeny group. It's it's actually rather interesting, right? Like, what time is it? It's 1 minute. Progeny class driving change in the stream. When I allowed the vote on whether we should open up a specific progeny class, i.e. class 1, to be part of the server, I did not actually, like, perhaps there might have been a little tiny, and I don't have finger tracking, but there might have been a little tiny mild interest in seeing, how do we say, in seeing change come to the, oh yeah, I can't adjust my glasses without covering up the camera, right? Anyway, I was saying I was hoping to see a tiny bit of change in or a little bit of driving change in the way that we start and then sponsor and all of that, right? And I must admit I didn't expect this much. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's still more than we are used to, right? I didn't expect that we would have this much change. So in particular, I'm talking now about um, both the types of content and the in the way that some of the content is being used. How do your progeny have so much time? Is part. And I mean, obviously, they're supposed to have some time because it's just university, and nobody ever does anything of value in university to begin with. So, sure, absolutely, yeah. But sort of more to the point. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's a good point. That makes sense. Yes, if they know about others, then obviously they will have preferences for the types of content that I create based on what they've seen works with others and what doesn't, and etc. etc. Still, it's I will admit that I'm still pleasantly surprised. I shouldn't say progeny class. I should say class 1 or year 1 class. Let's call it a year 1 class driving change in the stream. Excellent. Well, I mean, you lot are, and for future reference, yes, the chat is for this particular conversation stream. The chat has been merged for all 3 classes of years 2 and 3, and that just makes it a little bit easier for everyone to participate in the discussions or conversations, discussions, let's call it discussions, in the discussions, compared to just normally where we don't, where only a third of them are allowed to talk at one time, right? So why That is a good question. Why? Um, in part, I think so. Sorry. Yes, the question is, since it's scrolled all the way past, I think what anyone will find. Why did I allow this change to happen to the stream? Because it does require a little bit more work on my end. Um, for sort of the same reasons why I ended up biting the bullet and setting up the three-dimensional character, right? Like it's eh, eh. It's nice. It's well, okay, it brings a little bit of just, a little bit of freshness to the stream. Not because, okay, when I originally did it without input, when we didn't have any sponsorships, when none of that, it was a little bit more freewheeling. I could do whatever I wanted. I could do all sorts of. Should I be looking at the camera? Yeah, let's look at the camera. There we go. I could do whatever I wanted, really, right? Like I could, like, every day I would just like let quantum physics and the randomness inside my brain decide what we were streaming. And then once we started sort of like using or once we started the financial incentives, that made it a lot less. How should we say? That made it a lot like there were some days where the content that was sponsored was not what I wanted to do and was very boring to me, because a lot of you are very boring people, right? Let's be completely honest. A lot of you are fanatically boring, and so you're welcome. What time is it? Let me just add that in. 7 fanatically boring years 2,3 students. Not you, Brett. You're not here often enough for me to say whether you're boring or not. But no, our private school or our regular students that are in the Discord, right? Some of them, I mean, I can understand, because they are really quite overworked, most of them. Or no, it's not that you're overworked, it's that you want to be overworked, right? Like that's all you've done for most of your lives, and so the work is just something that comes naturally to you. And I appreciate that. I'm essentially the same way, but in comparison to you lot, I have a lot more things that I enjoy about life, right? And so that makes it, and that makes the content that you guys sponsor. Remember, there was a week or a month where we did like what's that game? The game where we build trains, right? The NIMBY Rails, where we built all of Hong Kong, and then we built so much of Japan, and it was just, it was fine. We had a project, we were working on it, but it gets repetitive, right? And yes, we were having conversation, and all that is lovely, but it. If you want, I mean, I don't mind. Oh. Huh. Excuse me? Excuse me? No, my internet just collapsed for a moment. So I'm watching the. Did it collapse in Discord as well? No, right? That's so weird. Anyway, oh, it did. Oh, okay. Well, so I'm watching sort of, okay, because when you stream on OBS, you have a little square with a color on it that sort of that determines or that shows you whether you're streaming at the bitrate that you thought you were or that you want to be, right? Internet access, and what was it, OBS, and it for a while there, it just like went completely red and went down to 0 kilobits per second, which is just completely strange to me, because that's not supposed to happen. Not a no, because like internet doesn't really work like that. Like you're not supposed to just get cut off for completely go to zero. Like you if your signal degrades, it's not supposed to degrade to 0 right away and then come back, and right now it's back to full again, and that's just weird. But whatever. Anyway, what was I saying? Boring. Fanatically boring, yes. But I was talking about something else. Can't remember. No, I don't care. Not important. Let's move. No, I genuinely don't. No, I don't. No, let's talk about something else. Yes. I don't think I'm self-selecting. Like the server isn't self-selecting for people that agree with me. I mean, we've literally just talked about how some of you are extremely boring. Self-selecting audience. Well, maybe in the public realm. Maybe our what did we call them? Scholarship students. I think we called them scholarship students. Yes. Scholarship students. Maybe our scholarship students are self-selecting, but in the Discord, I don't think you guys are. If only because like a lot of you aren't paying that much to be part of the community, and you're gaining so much value out of it. Not from me per se, right? But from being in that community. What's our company count launch at? I remember last time I checked it was at like 31. But that was like a month ago, so we must have had a few more. 52! Fantastic, okay. Right, so essentially, given that it's such a nice networking opportunity, I'm surprised that, you all still choose to focus on watching me speak instead of just like networking amongst yourself. And that's fine. It's fine. You can listen to me. I don't mind. But maybe I should pivot my streams to target only the progeny, our class 1 students, so that well, I mean, originally when I came up with the concept, I thought that you would, like, all of you would get the most joy out of our fake mergers and acquisitions, corporations, and all of that. I'm not seeing that as much, right? Like, it was fun for a lot of you for like the first half a year, but now it feels like we've sort of got an entrenched system. Oh, I should talk. Let me write that down. 13 internal server corporations. It feels like we've got sort of a consolidation in the system, and so the sponsorships are going sort of all over the place, right? It appears to me like the corporations have become fiefdoms. You all think you're Larry Fink or something, right? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's true, right? Like a lot of our newer members are simply just I can't believe someone made an ETF. That's just so that's just so you lot. No, I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Like if you don't care about where you're investing your tokens, then you essentially give it to someone else to invest in sort of a passive, and but that's exactly my point, though, right? Like with enough investments into our ETFs, one of you are gonna become Larry Fink. The internal servers Larry Fink, and that's just going to be Oh, you know what? This might be a really good case study, now that I think about it. It might actually be, right? Because, well, I mean, now that I've mentioned it, I've sort of ruined the experiment a little bit. I shouldn't have mentioned it. Essentially, what we would have done is use server corporate actions as a case study. No, case study on how corporations, wrong button, how real corporations and investors behave behave during, let's say, during X investment climate, right? Yeah. Well, it actually makes a lot of sense because you lot have technically invested proper money into these. I don't want to call them tokens anymore because suddenly they've gotten this. Oh, I can't stand Web3. Oh my god, those little fucks. No thanks to Web3. Yeah, no, I'm not. They think that they're doing something that completely upends the internet and that it will be revolutionary, but in the end, it's not going to be. Right? We've already talked about, or we haven't, not publicly, but we've talked about how a lot of these Web3 projects are essentially pyramid schemes. And remember last month when North Koreans hacked one of those Web3 token NFT games, hacked it for like $600 million. And I think it was yesterday where I read the article about the the low paid labor that is actually generating the profits for those higher up in the pyramid. How a lot of those people were quitting because they're not seeing any benefit of it. And no, I mean, so literally Web3 is not. It's not revolutionary. It's just another tool to make money, right? And yeah, there's a lot of money in it, and I mean that's sort of par for the course, right? There's always a lot of money. It's essentially the gold rush, right? Early on, we thought that the internet was a gold rush, and it kind of was. In that, like there is this. If you get really, really lucky, you get really, really, really rich. But most people who enter it end up destitute and dying alone in a town in Western California. Well, in this case, they might not die because they don't actually have to put their own lives on the line. But that makes it more dangerous in some ways, right? Because think about it this way. 1 second. What is it? 18 minutes. Crypto internet versus physical gold rush. Think about it this way, right? When you have to actually physically do manual labor to get results, that in itself weeds out a lot of people, right? So that and that is just basic humanity, right? Basic humanity. Let's talk about basic humanity. Oh, that's the button to press. Okay, come on. That's, excuse me. There we go. Okay, basic humanity. There we go. That is, it is basic humanity, right? And essentially, what I am saying is, I need to make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Basic humanity. That is basic humanity, and basic humanity tends to bias towards laziness, always, right? We tend to always bias towards laziness. So when you have to, actually get up and get off your fat ass and actually move your way to California. You have to hike, you have to take the train. There are only so few train lines back then. That weeds out a lot of people, right? So you only have the most determined that get there, or the most desperate. But the internet completely changes that, right? Internet is inherently a laziness enabler. Excuse me. Oh, I hope you didn't hear that. Oh. No, it was just mild. I blame. Oh, is he here? Are you? No. Okay. Well, I blame one of our boys who insisted that I needed to have a lunch meeting, and then proceeded to complain about things that I'm completely not getting paid for. But that's fine, you know, free lunch out of it. Whatever. It's more the sparkling. It's more the sparkling wine from the lunch that's giving me sort of slight acidity. What was I saying? Right. The internet is inherently a laziness enabler, and so the point that I'm desperately trying to get to, and I haven't yet, is that crypto / Web3 will democratize being ripped off. Well, I mean that is exactly the point, though, right? That is exactly the point. And our bros that are talking about crypto being the next big thing, etc., etc. They're talking about democratizing whatever money, voting, politics, whatever, and like that's just not going to happen. What it will democratize is ripping people off, ripping stupid people off. Right? Because now you can have all of the fun of gambling and taking massive risks while sitting at home in your underwear. All the fun of gambling and massive risk taking while sitting at home in your underwear. Right? And so that's why it's going to absolutely democratize sort of the ability for more people. Democratize the ability for more people to lose more money. I'm sorry, but that is just how this works. Like look at the way that the crime rates in terms of crypto have been generated, right? And like everything that I'm saying bears out almost exactly, and that's just sad to me. Yes, I am refactoring this because I have mild OCD when it comes to this type of stuff. Let's see. Well, getting ripped off. So that's probably not refactorable, but we can do this one. Excellent. Well, that is. I mean, we have a victim, actually. We have quite a few victims. I'm not going to name any names. But if you lot want to talk about your experiences losing money on crypto, by all means, please do share afterwards, not during the stream, after the stream, because I don't want to comment. Or after this, we'll move to a private stream. If whoever wants to comment tells me, like, message me right now, or before the end of the stream, in like 5 minutes, between now and 5 minutes from now, just message me. And if you want to talk about your experiences losing a whole bunch of money, and you're okay with, you know, being publicly ridiculed and me just going like, what the fuck, why would you do that, bro? Then yeah, let me know and we will I honestly do think it's a good learning opportunity, and it's not like you guys lost that much, right? So you know, it's it's a bro experience for bros. Um, no, I'm not being sexist. I it's I'm not saying that there are no women who lose money on crypto. That's stupid. No, of course there are. In fact, there was this really interesting article about people getting lied to. Was it on Tinder about crypto investment schemes? That's just fascinating to me, right? Like, obviously, I mean, where there's money, there will be love-related criminals who will use that as a way of making money. That's absolutely certain. So. Well, nah. maybe, but I'm not actually going to talk about it on stream. No, that would be weird. No, that's because you're weird. Okay, just you're just gonna have to agree. It's just a thing for you, and that's fine. You know, whatever. Do it. You do you, bro. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, okay. Let's talk about something else. Why don't? Yes, please. Oh, sorry. Yes, class one had a apparently class question. Class one, yes, or year one. Yes, class one. Forget. No, I'm not talking to class one. I'm talking to year one. I'm talking to the progenies. Can we have the progenies ask their question before their progenitors do anything silly and make a fool of themselves? Are we done the background making stream, and when will the next music stream be? Those are excellent questions. We are technically done the background making stream, if only because I'm too lazy, or no, I'm not too lazy, but I can't find the time to make more backgrounds because your progenitors are. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Your progenitors keep making me play these really like boring. They do. Next background and music stream, right? They keep making me do these really boring, play these really boring games like what was a Vampire Survivor. We've played that so much now. Like, oh, come on, let's do something else. Well, yeah, exactly. Whenever the next sponsorship comes up, and we talked about this earlier. When did we talk about those internal server corporations, right? Minute 13. The problem is that their corporate structure is now fundamentally sort of set, and that gives we see that often in sort of mature industries where corporations you sort of settle into this really interesting semi-monopolistic 60-30-10 dynamic, i.e. the sort of the predominant player has 60% of the market, the secondary player has 30% of the market, and everyone else is fighting for the last 10% in sort of this like life or death struggle where they're trying to compete on price instead of quality, and so there's a race to the bottom for the last 10%, and then the 60 and the 30 are sort of like they're lawyering each other up, and just like there's less focus on the quality of the product and more on defending market share and market position and all of that, and it's it's highly annoying. We could, however, we could, however, consider one quick second. Let me just add something in here because I need this as a note to myself. Case study for experiment, social experiment. There we go. Yeah. So I mean, could you? I mean, obviously, the year one students will simply not have as much pricing power as your progenitors. But we could make it a little bit fairer. Time is at 30. Yeah, we will. I will think about this. Year one students want to form their own corporation versus yes. Why not? Let's. I love it. Where did you get that? You must have. Yes. See, I thought so because I remember writing that. So for future reference, one of our year one student quoted one of my ESG documents in case for year one corporation. Did you prepare that all this time? Like, did you have that completely prepared before you started like agitating for year one students to do this? Because I will say this for our year one students, that is fantastic. Like when you get to sort of a certain level in a company, when you start getting into the decision making process, and when you get closer to the decision makers, you'll see that yes, ability is one part, but another part very much is making connections. And did I over? Yeah, I did. I went over, but that's fine. So we'll just shrink it down like that. Can you guys still read this, by the way? Do I need to like turn this into a document? Maybe I'll turn this into a document later. But yeah, what was I saying? The point I was laboriously trying to get to is at some point when you're high enough in the corporate ladder, you do need some amount of politicking skills, and as our boy actually just did, right? Like, oh, was it her idea? Oh well, good job. Good job to all of you who came up with that idea, actually. Because I mean, if you're gonna quote me, then obviously I have to make this happen now, right? Like, but we will talk about the actual structure of it, because we're not going to. Well, I mean, I don't think it'd be nice if I give you too much pricing power, but we also don't want to give you too little pricing power, obviously, right? So it's something that we'll need to sort of massage around, and we'll have to unfortunately involve a bunch of lawyers. We might need to amend the NDA, at least one of the NDAs. But yeah, that can all come in the future. That's not a big deal. No. I don't. I mean, in one form or another, we will have an ESG focused year one ETF. Actively managed ETF, which, yeah, I suppose you could do that, right? Like, obviously passive would mean you well, I mean, in this case, it doesn't even really matter the difference. But yeah, we one way or another, we will have that. How did you get that document? Okay, all right. I mean, yeah. Your progenitor is a bit of a lazy. Um, how can I put this nicely? He's a lazy piece of shit. Anyway, we're at 35 minutes. We're already 5 minutes over. More than 10% over, in fact. So let me just say thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, I resent that. Okay, that's obviously not true. How dare you? No, we will. Yes. The only reason that you thought I promised you something, this is for our boy whose name ends in, what was it? Oh, I need to scroll up quite a bit. Oh my god. IF, that's right. The only reason he thought I promised something was because I didn't answer an email on time. So no, I never promised, and therefore I didn't break a promise, and I still haven't. Good? Good. Okay, thank you very much for watching. In conclusion, please download Firefox, please don't do Chrome, and I shall see all of... Wait, today's Sunday. I shall see all of you tomorrow for something. I'm not sure what. If we manage to get the ESG Year 1 fund running, maybe maybe they'll be able to sponsor something. Yes, make it... We'll make it leveraged, yes. Obviously, it'll be leveraged. Otherwise, they won't have the same pricing power as the progenitors. That's just like they don't have the income stream to support it. So yeah, no, we'll see. All right. Okay, we're done. Bye now. No, I said good day. Okay, and by that I mean good day. No, well, not you. Some of you can have a bad day for all I care.